morning, Nigeria. Rivers State remains the center of one of Nigeria's most dramatic and emotionally charged political battles, as Governor Siminalayi Fubara faces mounting pressure over his political future. His relationship with former governor and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, and the growing tension shaping the road to 2027. What initially appeared to many Nigerians as an ordinary political disagreement between a governor and his predecessor has gradually evolved into a fierce power struggle involving loyalty, survival, control of political structures, impeachment threats, party realignments, federal influence, and the future direction of one of Nigeria's most politically important states. But as tensions continue reshaping Rivers politics, one reality is becoming increasingly clear. Governor Fubara's next strategic move may determine not only his own political survival, but the entire balance of power in Rivers State heading towards the 2027 elections. The crisis between Fubara and Wike has already transformed Rivers into a battlefield of political influence unlike anything seen in recent years. At the heart of the struggle lies a fundamental question that continues dividing political observers across Nigeria. Can a sitting governor truly govern independently after emerging under the political structure of an extremely powerful predecessor? Or does Nigerian politics still operate through systems where political loyalty to powerful godfathers ultimately determines survival? These questions become even more explosive after Fubara reportedly withdrew from the APC governorship race following intense political negotiations and growing pressure surrounding earlier peace agreements linked to the Rivers crisis. Wike himself openly stated that Fubara's withdrawal aligned with understandings reached during reconciliation efforts aimed at stabilizing the state politically. According to the FCT minister, part of the agreement involved dropping impeachment threats against Fubara on the condition that the governor would not seek a second term. That statement alone shook many Nigerians because it reinforced widespread perceptions that the Rivers political crisis was never merely about governance disagreements. It was fundamentally about control, succession, loyalty, and political power heading towards 2027. Once Wike publicly framed Fubara's withdrawal as compliance with earlier understandings, the political conversation changed dramatically. Nigerians immediately began asking whether Fubara still possesses real political independence or whether he has gradually been cornered into political surrender. This is exactly why every move Fubara makes politically has become nationally significant. Rivers State is not an ordinary political state. It is one of Nigeria's most economically powerful and politically strategic regions. Control of rivers means influence. Control of rivers means structure. Control of rivers means enormous political leverage nationally. This explains why the battle surrounding Fubara has attracted such intense attention across the country. Political actors understand that whoever controls Rivers politically heading into 2027 could significantly shape broader national developments as alliances and presidential contests intensified nationwide. The emergence of Kingsley Chinda as APC governorship candidate in Rivers further complicated the political atmosphere dramatically. Chinda, widely regarded as politically aligned with Wike, emerged after Fubara, Tony Cole, and George Kelly reportedly stepped aside from the race. Suddenly, the picture became clearer to many observers. Wike loyalists appear increasingly dominant inside multiple political structures simultaneously, even inside PDP. Another Wike ally, Sam Ejuku, later emerged as consensus governorship candidate. This development strengthened growing perceptions that the former Rivers governor remains one of the most powerful political figures shaping Rivers politics despite no longer occupying government house directly. For Governor Fubara, this creates an extremely difficult political dilemma. Does he continue pursuing reconciliation and political survival quietly, or does he eventually attempt rebuilding independent structures capable of challenging Wike's overwhelming influence? Neither path is politically easy. Open confrontation carries enormous risk because Wike still commands significant loyalty across party structures, lawmakers, political stakeholders, and influential networks inside Rivers. But total surrender also carries consequences because political weakness itself can gradually destroy long-term authority and relevance. Governors perceived as politically isolated or dependent often struggle maintaining control over their own administrations once public perception shifts against them internally. Another major complication involves public sympathy itself. During the peak of the Rivers crisis, many Nigerians viewed Fubara sympathetically, believing he was facing overwhelming political pressure from forces far more powerful than himself. Impeachment threats, assembly tensions, political defections, and open confrontations created the image of a governor fighting for survival against entrenched political machinery. That public sympathy became politically important because ordinary citizens often emotionally support figures perceived as politically oppressed or unfairly targeted by stronger establishments. But sympathy alone cannot sustain political power indefinitely. Eventually, governors must demonstrate strategy, structure, and authority if they hope to remain politically relevant in long term. This is why Fubara's next strategic decisions matter enormously. Every decision carries consequences. Every alliance matters. Every silence is interpreted politically. Every appearance alongside Wike sends signals. Every withdrawal creates speculation. Every statement shapes public perception. The broader national political environment also increased pressure dramatically. Nigeria is already entering a period of intense political realignment ahead of 2027. Opposition alliances are shifting. Party defections are accelerating. Governors are repositioning quietly. Presidential camps are expanding influence across states aggressively. In this atmosphere, Rivers becomes even more strategically important because of their voting strength, economic significance, and symbolic political influence nationally Powerful actors understand this clearly, which explains why Rivers politics increasingly resembles a high-stake chess game where every move is watched carefully. Security and governance pressures inside the state add another layer of complexity. Citizens facing economic hardship, unemployment, insecurity, and infrastructural challenges increasingly expect leadership focused on governance rather than endless political warfare. Prolonged political instability can gradually damage investor confidence, weaken administrative coordination, and deepen public frustration. Many Rivers citizens are exhausted by constant political tension and simply want stability, development, and functional governance restored fully. This means Fubara faces pressure not only from political rivals, but also from ordinary citizens expecting effective leadership amid the crisis. There is also growing national concern about the president's Rivers politics may establish for future governor predecessor relationships across Nigeria. If sitting governors appear unable to exercise political autonomy after election victories, critics fear Nigerian democracy itself becomes weakened because elected leaders may increasingly function under unelected external influence rather than direct public accountability. Supporters of Wike, however, argue that political loyalty and agreements must be respected, especially when powerful political structures help produce electoral victories originally. This debate has become one of the most emotionally divisive aspects of the Rivers crisis nationally. Meanwhile, political analysts continue speculating quietly about whether Fubara could eventually pursue alternative alliances outside existing structures if pressure intensifies further. Some observers believe reconciliation remains the most likely path because the risk of direct confrontation remains extremely high politically. Others argue that Rivers politics is too volatile for any agreement to remain permanently stable, especially as 2027 approaches and ambitions intensify nationwide. The uncertainty itself is what keeps political attention fixed firmly on Rivers State daily. Perhaps that is the most important reality of all. The Rivers crisis is no longer just about Rivers. It has become a national political symbol, a symbol of power, a symbol of loyalty, a symbol of political survival, and a symbol of the harsh realities shaping Nigerian politics behind closed doors. Governor Fubara therefore stands at an extremely critical political crossroads. Every path forward carries consequences. Every delay creates speculation. Every strategic decision could reshape his future permanently. Whether he chooses deeper reconciliation, quiet repositioning, political resistance, or long-term alliance rebuilding, one thing is undeniable. His next move may become one of the most important political developments in Nigeria before 2027. For more updates and in-depth analysis, stay with us on News Express. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I am Cassie Tony, and many thanks for watching.